Prince Harry thought he had found a love story, a chance meeting, a modern fairy tale, a woman from Hollywood who just happened to cross his path.
That just because she was in Suits, that was how she met Marcus Anderson in Canada. Continues, and like I said, we saw Marcus Anderson popping up on her Instagram feed. Now, people have asked me, were they in a relationship? And I looked into that very, very deeply.
But what if nothing about it was accidental? What if Meghan Markle did not wander into royalty, but navigated toward it? It starts quietly, long before Prince Harry ever sent a text.
You can't have more than the last husband saying this. He's an honourable man. He's not going to tell lies. Why should he? So this is the truth. And I think we're all going to be after the truth for quite a long time.
I know, and it's like, when will Prince Harry wake up?
Back in Canada, Meghan Markle was building more than an acting career on Suits. While cameras focused on scripts and scenes, another world was forming around her. Private clubs, invitation-only dinners, rooftop parties where influence mattered more than fame. And one name keeps surfacing in that world, again and again. Marcus Anderson. Marcus Anderson was not a celebrity. He was more powerful than that. A senior figure inside Soho House, the members-only network famous for blending wealth, politics, entertainment, and access.
We know via Tom Bower that Meghan Markle returned her engagement ring to Trevor Engelson via the post.
I'm so interested in Meghan. And this is the other one where she looks, honestly, guys, let me see if it goes back to her. Hold on.
Soho House is not just a club. It is a filter. Who gets in? Who meets whom? Who moves up? As Suits gained traction in Toronto, Meghan Markle's social circle expanded in parallel. Photos began appearing. Meghan Markle at Soho House events. Meghan Markle beside executives. Meghan Markle smiling beside financiers and creatives whose paths rarely cross with TV actors by accident.
Blatant in terms of the fact that you want this famous royal, and specifically you want Prince Harry.
And always nearby, Marcus Anderson. People later asked, was Marcus Anderson just a friend? Or was he a guide? Some observers noticed that Meghan Markle's access seemed unusually advanced for her position at the time. Soho House openings. Elite guest lists.
Specifically, you want Prince Harry. Because my reporting on Meghan Markle's early life in London, Angela, made it very clear that she was looking for a celebrity. Matt Cardle from The X Factor, but it's so fascinating that she had her sights set on Harry.
I think she studied him. Now, if you do study him...
International travel overlapping with private member events. The kind of life that usually requires someone opening doors quietly. Then came the images that changed perception. Old yacht photos resurfaced online. Meghan Markle on deck, Mediterranean light, luxury surroundings. But what caught attention was not her pose. It was a navy bag stamped with gold letters behind her.
And you can see that he's yearning to get married. He told me that he really wanted children.
Soho House. To some, it was just a logo. To others, it was a breadcrumb. Because Soho House is not casual tourism.
The time hasn't come yet, but he really wants to be a father because he loves being with children. So she would hear that, so she would offer him that.
It is curated presence. It suggests connection, invitation, placement. Around the same period, Meghan Markle's Instagram began reflecting the same network. Restaurants tied to private memberships. Social posts echoing locations known for hosting the same elite figures Prince Harry would later meet in royal circles. Critics began asking a different question. Had Meghan Markle already been orbiting Prince Harry's world before Prince Harry ever noticed her? Another name entered the frame.
She would offer him Africa because he loved Africa. So she went for a quick trip there, came back, told him, oh gosh, that was so wonderful.
Corey Vitiello, Toronto chef, social connector. Through Corey Vitiello, Meghan Markle's visibility grew even further. Dinners became introductions. Introductions became relationships. And through those relationships, the same figure remained consistent.
Wonderful. And 2 days after they had a meeting, they were off there to look at the stars. And, all that was very carefully done.
Marcus Anderson, but according to long circulating commentary, Marcus Anderson did not just attend events. He curated proximity. He ensured people crossed paths naturally. No spotlight, no announcements. Just presence. Years later, when Prince Harry described meeting Meghan Markle as a blind date, observers began rewinding timelines. Meghan Markle had already moved in circles that overlapped with British elites.
Just from that opening night party at Soho House without Corey being on her arm, I think he was vital to future dinner parties.
Charity events, international galas, rooftop gatherings attended by people Prince Harry himself would later encounter. Some even pointed to stories surrounding Trevor Engelson, Meghan Markle's former husband.
Long before Meghan Markle ever went public with her vision boards. But do you remember recently, Angela, Meghan Markle actually posted a vision board on Instagram. So this is absolutely the type of thing she uses.
Reports said Meghan Markle had always visualized advancement, networking, positioning. Whether true or exaggerated, the narrative grew louder online. Meghan Markle did not wait for opportunity. She designed it. By the time Meghan Markle met Prince Harry, her environment looked less like coincidence and more like rehearsal. Same networks, same venues.
Yes, she likes that, doesn't she? And you went through all the details of it very carefully, criticizing each bit.
Same social architecture. Soho House, Marcus Anderson. Corey Vidiello. Toronto to London. London to global influence. Prince Harry believed he introduced Meghan Markle to royalty.
And I thought, well, only some people would bother to do that. They'd never get me to do that, but she did, and that's what she liked.
But critics now argue something different. That Meghan Markle had already studied the terrain, already built bridges, already learned how power travels quietly through rooms most people never enter. And if Marcus Anderson was the gatekeeper, Meghan Markle was the strategist, because fairy tales do not usually begin in private clubs.
Planned from the beginning. She denied being interested in the royal family, which she totally was. I know someone who knows the ex-husband who said she had a vision board with Prince Harry on it.
They begin in chance. And what unsettles people about Meghan Markle's story is not romance. It is structure, not fate, design, and that design would only become clearer once Prince Harry started looking backward instead of forward. This was not just a love story anymore, it was a map.
Going ahead, it sort of gave her encouragement that if she saw it up there, it was going to happen.
Prince Harry did not notice it at first. At the beginning, love blurred logic. Meghan Markle was charming, attentive, curious about his world. She listened when Prince Harry talked about Africa. She admired Princess Diana.
But isn't it awful? It's just too awful for words. And I think that there we are.
She mirrored his interests with uncanny precision. To Prince Harry, it felt like destiny. To outsiders later, it felt like preparation. The shift began one quiet night in Montecito. Prince Harry was scrolling through archived photos, old press, forgotten posts. Nothing dramatic.
Jumping about something like that, she would have things where she didn't like it and tell him that make his life very difficult.
Just curiosity. Until one image stopped him. Meghan Markle on a yacht, years before they met, laughing, relaxed. But behind her sat the same detail others had noticed. A Soho House bag. Prince Harry zoomed in, again and again. Soho House was not random.
Please her. But it's very difficult if you've got someone who is changing their mood all the time, changing what they're putting up on the board.
Prince Harry knew what it represented: influence, placement, controlled access. It was the same network that had quietly shaped parts of his own social environment.
You know, it's very disturbing, and he's a very vulnerable person, and she's taken 100% of that.
And suddenly a question formed that would not go away. What was Meghan Markle doing there before she ever knew him? The digging started small. Old Toronto Life social pages, event listings.
That.
I know, God, absolutely fascinating. And can I just say, God bless Meghan Kelly.
Guest columns. Meghan Markle's name appeared beside figures who rarely mixed with cable television actors. Opening night parties, members-only receptions, international gatherings tied back to Soho House and its executives.
Nights at his restaurant as his girlfriend. I just don't think she would have the chops.
And always, one figure remained consistent. Marcus Anderson. Marcus Anderson appeared in timelines before Prince Harry, before London, before the so-called blind date. He was present at Meghan Markle's rise.
God bless Meghan Kelly. What a woman. So glad that she's revealed some more details on that, because I've been intrigued for such a long time.
I think it's wonderful, and I think that we need to realise that all the things we've thought about.
At Soho House Toronto openings, at curated dinners, at gatherings where social position mattered more than talent, Prince Harry began to see pattern instead of memory. Then came the overlaps. Meghan Markle in Barcelona at the same time as financiers Prince Harry later encountered at charity functions.
So all the things we've thought about and said and been attacked for, it doesn't work because we're right.
Meghan Markle photographed in Istanbul near business figures later seen in royal fundraising circles. Meghan Markle appearing repeatedly in spaces where British elites quietly circulated. Online communities noticed too. Reddit threads mapped movements. Timelines aligned. One viral comment summarized the shift. She was not stumbling into his world. She was rehearsing for it. Prince Harry's curiosity became obsession.
If you ever want to hook a brother up, I'm here. I'm here for you, Trevor. I would absolutely love to hear from you. Direct. But obviously, I understand you're a classy guy.
According to insiders, he began printing photos, names, guest lists, connecting Soho House members to later royal acquaintances.
Producer, you're not a public-facing guy, and I like the fact that actually over the past few years what you've done is you've just, you've told some friends some key pieces of information.
Walls in his study slowly filled with connections. Marcus Anderson's name kept returning like a watermark. He started asking questions. Who introduced Meghan Markle to London donors? Who arranged early meetings?
Proves, and let me use that word again, which proves she was on a manhunt, not just for a famous Brit, not just for a British royal, but for Prince Harry himself.
Who paid for certain memberships? The answers kept bending back to Soho House, to Marcus Anderson. Even Meghan Markle's lifestyle began to look different under inspection. International travel, designer wardrobes, private access. All before Prince Harry. Suits paid well, but not that well. Observers online ran the numbers.
People. And I couldn't see that Marcus Anderson would necessarily meet her. And I doubted that she would have the cachet to be at the opening night party. But these were just all my own ideas, and I couldn't really prove anything, but it niggled at me.
Soho House global memberships alone cost thousands. Add flights, hotels, clothing, and elite access. And the lifestyle exceeded what her salary easily covered. Then came the wedding list out of hundreds of guests on Meghan Markle's side.
I know that Meghan Markle did plan this, but what is new in terms of Meghan Kelly's revelation is that it is Trevor Engels.
A striking number had ties to Soho House. Executives, founders, members, longtime figures from Marcus Anderson's professional world. To Prince Harry, it no longer felt like family and friends.
At me. And so I went for a bit of a deep dive and I found the Toronto Life social pages.
It felt like a summit of a network. Photos resurfaced. Marcus Anderson seated comfortably at the royal wedding, smiling, integrated, not as a guest.
And it was very interesting to see who they mentioned in that column. Now, I would assume that if the cast from Suits were invited to that opening night founding members party.
As a fixture, Prince Harry remembered warnings he once ignored. Prince William urging caution. Palace staff flagging social strategists. People who positioned others for advantage quietly instead of loudly.
Trevor Engelson via an intermediary who has revealed this story.
At the time, Prince Harry called it jealousy. Now it replayed like prophecy. The narrative in Prince Harry's mind began to invert. Maybe Meghan Markle did not meet royalty and adapt. Maybe she adapted first. Each memory changed color.
Extension through Corey. Now, of course, as Suits took off more and became more popular and became more well known, particularly in Canada,
the blind date, the shared interests, the Africa conversations, the admiration for Diana, the mirrored dreams of family and children. It all still looked romantic. But beneath it now sat intention. Not manipulation, not evil. But planning. Marcus Anderson no longer looked like a friend. He looked like infrastructure. And infrastructure does not fall into place by accident. By the time Prince Harry finished reviewing the timelines,
really have needed Corey anymore. But for that initial branch, I think she needed Corey. She obviously needed Marcus Anderson.
One realization settled in his chest. The fairy tale he believed in did not start with love. It started with access. And once access is built.
It's excellent and wonderful that she's now said it and she's found out. She's a brilliant woman. And I think that at last, in all sorts of different areas, but this one is really keen because she says she didn't even know who he was. Why do you put someone on a board if you don't know who it is? And that's also why
the rest can be engineered. Prince Harry was no longer asking who Meghan Markle loved. He was asking who Meghan Markle had been preparing to meet. And every road still pointed back to the same name, Marcus Anderson. By the time Prince Harry reached the end of his search, curiosity had turned into something heavier, not anger.
Know who it is. And that's also why she used Diana's favorite perfume. So when they met for the first time, gosh, he couldn't believe it. He thought it had come from heaven. All this phoniness is going to drop from her bit by bit because people are so fed up.
Not rage, awareness, the kind that quietly changes how every memory feels. Meghan Markle was no longer just his wife in those reflections. She became a timeline. It happened during an ordinary evening. No shouting, no headlines, just silence in the kitchen. Prince Harry finally asked the question he had been circling for weeks. Are you still in contact with Marcus Anderson? Meghan Markle paused. Witnesses later described it as brief, but noticeable. The warmth that usually carried her voice flattened. She did not argue. She did not deny. She simply said, "He's my friend. Of course I talked to him." It was not the words that stayed with Prince Harry. It was the tone. Detached, controlled. Final. To Prince Harry, it felt like confirmation without confession. The silence afterwards spoke louder than any explanation. Online, people would later call it the Montecito standoff. The moment romance met reality. After that night, behavior shifted. Staff noticed Prince Harry pacing more, asking about schedules, wanting names, wanting clarity. Meanwhile, Meghan Markle continued her meetings, her brand negotiations, her Hollywood positioning. The same elite names from her Soho House years quietly resurfaced in Los Angeles rooms. Marcus Anderson remained present in the background, public opinion fractured. Some saw Prince Harry unraveling. Others saw him waking up. Memes spread across social platforms. When your fairy tale turns into a business plan, but behind the jokes, something darker lingered. Trust was no longer automatic. Then came the financial questions. How had Meghan Markle afforded the lifestyle before him? The flights, the hotels, the wardrobes, the access. Viral posts broke it down. Suits paid well, but not elite network well. Soho House global membership, international positioning, luxury travel. It added up fast. An insider from Toronto circulated a claim that Meghan Markle's memberships were sometimes comped through Soho House corporate relationships, managed through Marcus Anderson. Not charity. Investment. If true, it reframed everything. Not romance. Infrastructure. Prince Harry started reviewing his wedding again. 200 guests, more than 60 with direct or indirect ties to Soho House. Executives, founders, members, longtime associates from Meghan Markle's rise. Photos showed Marcus Anderson raising a glass at the reception like someone watching a project graduate. Online comments turned brutal. It wasn't a wedding. It was a networking summit. Prince Harry remembered how Meghan Markle always mirrored him. His love for Africa, his desire for children, his fascination with Princess Diana. Even Diana's favorite perfume appeared early in their courtship. To Prince Harry, it felt spiritual at the time. Now it felt steady. Not fake. Strategic. Old interviews resurfaced. Commentators revisited Trevor Engelson. Vision boards. Celebrity targeting. Ambition masked as destiny. Meghan Markle had never hidden that she wanted influence. What unsettled people was how precisely she seemed to build it. Prince William's warnings replayed in Prince Harry's mind. Palace staff cautioning about social engineers, people who shape environments instead of reacting to them. At the time, Prince Harry dismissed it as family pressure. Now it sounded like pattern recognition. By autumn, insiders described Prince Harry as haunted. He referred to Marcus Anderson as the shadow in the room. Every meeting, every photo, every introduction seemed to echo backward into Meghan Markle's Soho House era. Hollywood began watching too. Public sentiment shifted. Studios quietly monitored brand risk. Netflix, Spotify, and partners grew cautious. Meghan Markle was no longer just a duchess. She was a narrative. Across media, one question followed her. Was Prince Harry chosen or discovered? In Montecito, the prince who once believed in fate now walked halls filled with timelines instead of dreams.